Good evening and welcome to another episode of Success Mantra. This is the second season that we have started, and of course, we always have such coaches, trainers, mentors, and consultants who share their experience, their journey with us. Today, we have somebody really, really interesting, and I have seen her grow through years, because I've seen her like a little child who was there in my wedding, and today she happens to be a mother herself. We have Radhika Sen with us. Welcome, Radhika, to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Mommy. Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure to have you here. So Radhika Sen is author of the Indian Dance Show, and she's also the chief marketing officer of Lively. She, apart from all these responsibilities, also runs a startup venture of her own, which is called Rad Labs. And above all, she is a mother of a 1.5-year-old, if I may say so.
Yeah.
Right. So awesome. So juggling those things all together, we would love to know more about it from you and how the youngsters can take these footsteps likewise. Yeah. So Radhika, before we go ahead, why don't you share a quick thought about what success means to you?
Sure. Yeah, I know it's like a very big question. I think there's so many ways to define success. And I think when I was younger, I probably defined it in a lot more rigid, traditional terms. I used to think success meant that I need to get a certain title in my career. I need to make a certain amount of money relative to my peers. I think now, I'm older, I'm in a different place in my life. So today, the way I think about success now is two-part. It's really getting to do what you love and finding balance. So I think that first part, getting to do what you love, is also tied to this idea of finding out what you love, like being really honest with yourself about what do you actually want to do and how do you navigate your life in a way that you're spending more time doing that. And then that kind of ties to this idea of balance. And I know everybody has practical responsibilities in life, or maybe just personal things you have to do. If you can find that balance between that thing you love and then everything else, then I think that really makes you a truly successful person. And of course, that's just my definition of success. I think, every person needs to really define that for themselves.
Absolutely. So very well said that success is not always money and designation. It is way more than that. And above all, it's like following your own passion, the things that you would like to do. So in this journey as a professional, so you have been in various corporates, and then you have started off on your own. What are the traits or behaviors which has really helped you carve yourself as a professional, as a consultant, as an entrepreneur, and of course, now as a mother, as an author?
I think a couple things come to mind about myself personally. One of the things is I've always had, even since I was young, a strong belief in myself that I'm capable, that if I have an idea, that I just need to put my effort and time into it, my brain power to it, and then I can do it. So even if it's something I've never done before, I think that belief has really driven me to do things. There might be a thought in the back of your mind, like, oh no, I don't have the experience, or I don't know anything about that. But I kept going forward towards it because I knew, I can do this. Another thing is I've always been pretty self-disciplined. So if I set goals for myself, I can get serious about it and make sure what needs to get done gets done in an efficient way. Probably another thing is that, just me, I feel most motivated when I'm really excited or passionate about something. So when I'm not motivated, for me is a trigger for, like I'm not spending my time doing things I like. That's usually a time for me to be like, wait a second, maybe I need to do something different. Maybe I am pursuing the wrong things, or I'm working on things that I don't even care about. So how can I redirect my life so that I am motivated?
That's really interesting that, like your journey has been with a lot of self-discipline. What I wanted to understand is that, you have studied in the Ivy League, university. You have done phenomenally well. And what actually gave you the path to marketing, as in, like you were kind of good in all subjects. So why marketing?
I think my journey even into business like started in high school. I have a kind of this competitive entrepreneurial spirit within me that I was very inspired by some of the, really amazing business leaders throughout history. That was kind of partially how I was in the world of business in the first place. And marketing actually came to me because I actually started off in finance and I thought that I was going to do that. But when I was taking all my classes, I realized that I'm more of a creative and analytical person. And I thought marketing was like this perfect home for me where I could use both sides. You have to be very analytical about, the decisions you're making and everything in marketing, but, you can also think about, what's the psychology behind the user? Like what visuals are working and not working for this particular brand? What is the brand? So there's just a lot of creativity there that it wasn't where I ever imagined I would end up, but that was, kind of where I realized I was happiest. The classes I enjoyed the most were marketing.
Wow, that's wonderful. And, like you were practicing dance right from, like very, very young, I can recollect. So how come you were a very good dancer, you did your Arangetram and very professionally, like you managed the show. So how come not professional dancing, taking up that line? Because you're very passionate about it.
Yeah, and I think, dance is something I'll always be extremely passionate about. That's why I ended up writing a book about it. It still gives me so much joy when I dance. But I think it was, that's one side of me. There are
Sure.
many things that I am very passionate about or get excited about. And um, I think, maybe given different opportunities, like who knows, like maybe I would have gone down a different path. But,
Yeah.
when I was in those formative years, I think I was at the time just much more excited about the business world and like what I could do, how I could push myself. And I think another thing, I wanted to be able to make an impact. And I think that was kind of what influenced me there. But dance is something that, and I think the people who are professional performers, like I admire so much. I mean, what an amazing way to live your life, entertaining others, but also like the joy you get from that is just, it's amazing.
True. So, like I always thought that dance gives you personality. Dance gives you a lot of, what should I say? Like anybody I've heard dancing or practicing dance regularly are very, very healthy and fit people. So, would you like to mention some scientific basis which links, as in not just as a professional dancer, but dance by itself is a mode, like we say go run or go gym or go cycle. So would you compare dance to a theme or a kind of metaphor like that, which can help others come out of their sorrows, come out of their limiting beliefs, and make a bigger kind of impact with their talents which they are born with?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, the cool thing about dance is that you don't need to have ever done it before or have any training. Like you could just start dancing, just play some music and dance. And I think, there's so many benefits that I think anyone who has danced kind of knows. Like just the feeling of liberation, the feeling of moving your bodies, and we're all human beings, like we're meant to move our bodies. I am not like a scientist, so I don't have all the stats, but I know for sure that, to live healthily, each of us needs to have cardio in our life, and that's not just strength training, but also getting your heart rate up regularly, for, ideally multiple times a week. And for me, like, there's no better cardio than dance. So
Absolutely.
like whenever I can, like, I mean, I also like, riding the bike and I like swimming and I like a lot of other things, but like dance never feels like exercise for me. So for someone who is, knows that they need to work out, but they don't like going to the gym and they don't like working out, like try to take a dance class. Like I think it's one of the best ways because you just don't even realize you're working out. You're having so much fun.
Absolutely. So, Radhika, you've done so many different things and you have accomplished every goal that you have ever set out for. Which has been the most important achievement which, like you have managed in your life, or which you really feel very proud about?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I will say I don't think I've I've met every goal I've ever set in my life, and that's just a part of life. But and I also try not to think about it in terms of like which achievement is more important than the other. But if I had to pick, if I had to pick something, I think where I am today, just the work-life balance I've been able to create in my life, between, pursuing my creative interests, my career, and being a mother. I think I've been very lucky that everything I worked on, like since graduating from college, like the 10 years I spent, really building my marketing career, I think has culminated to a place where, I was able to start the marketing consultancy before my son was born. And, I wasn't even necessarily thinking about like, how do I do this so that I'm ready? That's definitely not what I was thinking when I created the company. But what it has resulted in is that I feel like, I certainly can't do it all, but I have reached a place where I feel like I am able to pursue a lot of these things, and do my best at it. Like it's not stretching me too thin. And I think, it's just like I said, it's like a culmination of a lot of achievements that I think I'm proud of today, feeling like I have that sense of balance.
Right.
I'm also proud that I feel like this balance has enabled me to be very present, with my son. So I work from home. I get to be with him, and he's a really happy little boy, and that makes me feel like that sense of success or whatnot. Like I just feel like that's also an achievement that he's happy.
Beautiful. So, Radhika, in your consulting business, you coach other people, you help other people build their marketing, side of the business. So, would you like to share a couple of things which maybe people should look into even before they go to a consultant to, kind of lay down a complete roadmap or blueprint of their marketing? So any kind of thoughts or advice that you would like to give startups?
Yeah, I mean, I have worked with a really diverse array of different companies and like various different stages, like very established to, just started yesterday. So the advice is really different depending on kind of where the company is at. But I think, some of the most important things are, I mean, like a lot of this is like marketing 101, but like really thinking about your user and do you have a product that actually solves their problems or solves a need for them? And if it does, how is it different from what's out there? How are you speaking to them so they understand what it is you do in a very quick and simple way? People have very short attention spans now. So having like a very concise brand story, concise message, and being really smart about how you are relaying that message, I think is important to any company's kind of marketing plan. But, I always try to tell companies to, when they're thinking about, making business decisions, like always thinking about, pretend that one chair at the table is your customer. What would they say, like based like on the decision you're making? Like always keep them in mind. So that's definitely true for my company clients. And then I also have people coming to me that want advice on how to become a marketing consultant themselves. And these are often people who are kind of like me earlier in my career, working for a big corporate company. And to them, I just really kind of share with them that they can do it, and it's actually they could be even more successful than they had ever imagined because there's such a need for marketing advice from a lot of these smaller companies that otherwise wouldn't be able to hire a full-time resource. So, really sharing them the exact steps that I took and how I created my client base. I think all of that helps.
Fantastic. So who has been your biggest role model in life in your journey?
So these are hard questions. I mean, I think I don't have like a single biggest role model. I have so many role models. I think my earliest role models, I think like many people, were my parents. My mother is a very strong female who gets things done. And I think she taught me that, that you can be a strong people. And when things need to get done, like you figure out a way to get those things done and you speak your mind. And my father is a very, very disciplined and hardworking person. So, I think that both of them were huge role models to me growing up, to be the best that I could be and take the best from both of them. I think now my husband is a huge role model to me, and I think we both admire a lot of about each other. My husband is a very independent thinker, and he literally has never lived his life without any care to anybody else's opinions, which is sometimes rare to find. Like, he really made and he continues to make life decisions like truly based on like what he wants and what his passions are and what his interests are. And it's really inspiring to me because that's how I want to think like that too. And I have tried to adopt a lot of that kind of be yourself mentality. And outside of my family, I think there's so many public figures that are so inspirational, but I think I tend to gravitate. I'm most inspired by people who are unafraid to do something different, pursue what it is they're really into. And, they might not be doing it to make an impact, but they end up making an impact, or they end up creating an emotional response. And, that can be from anybody, like a performer, a musician, artists of all kinds are just such role models to me, that they pursued their creative interests as a full-time career. People like Anthony Bourdain, or like Jane Goodall, Nelson Mandela, like the list goes. There's so many people that are
Very true.
Awesome role models.
Excellent. And what are the daily, kind of things which help you, which is part of your routine, which helps you kind of set yourself on your journey and not deviate from your goals, or, like things that you would like to achieve in life?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I can't promise that I do things every single day, but I try to do these things every day. One of the things is, I really try to wake up thinking it's going to be a good day, like to have that positive mindset. I think helps me just to set the day on like a happy note. And then another thing I do is I really try to spend time every day thinking about like the future, like whether, even if it's just 1 week from now, if I want to work out a couple times next week, what do I have to do today to make sure that happens next week? And then I think about next month, like what are the goals I have for myself next month? And then when I can, I really try to think beyond that, like next year. Just every day thinking a little bit about the future helps me, I think, to set those markers, or just get things done. I also think I try every day to give myself some quiet time to really, like, because it's so busy, like between everything that's going on, you can make yourself so busy or so distracted by the internet or whatever that you don't actually think anymore. Like you're just on autopilot, or like you're just consuming. And I think it's important for everyone to kind of find that time in their day to just be quiet. And sometimes that's when I'm exercising, or sometimes it's when I'm even just showering, or like whatever it is, just like being really quiet and figuring out, actually, how did I feel today? What do I want to do? So those are the things I do, and try to get a good night's sleep. That's like another thing.
Absolutely. Okay, so like Radhika, such stellar performance, great journey. Have you had any failures in life? And if yes, then how would you deal with these situations?
Yeah, I mean, I've had like infinite failures and I fail all the time and I fail every day. So I definitely am not someone with no failures. I think and I wouldn't want to be. Like the reason I am who I am today is because I've been forced to work through failures that I think give you maturity and wisdom and life experience that just makes you, better able to navigate, different, issues or things that come up in the future. So I think for me, when those like setbacks happen, I think in the moment you're going to feel all the acute feelings that you're disappointed, angry, upset, whatever that is. I think you let yourself feel those things. And I think then you give yourself some grace and hopefully after some time you can think about, what can I learn from that? What role did I play in that happening? What role did other people play in that happening? What's something I could do to improve myself so that that doesn't happen again? So these are all these things, like my failures, like I really try to think about, like what can I take from that so that, as I'm going through life, like it's a path. Like you are going to trip and fall sometimes, but I think you got to get up and you have to keep walking, and you might as well keep walking with some like learn insights under your belt. So that's kind of how I try. And then I will say, like when it's like a really bad failure or something is really hard for somebody to process, I think talking to people, talking to your friends, talking to your family, talking to a counselor, therapist, these people can really help. Sometimes a life coach or business coach can help you to figure out, how can I overcome that failure? How can I see it not as a failure anymore, but really as a learning opportunity?
Wow. That's really nice because sometimes these are situations which can really put you on a spot and make you feel very down and out. So,
Yeah.
and there is a social kind of a phobia that this should not happen at all. But these are things life happens, right? So that's when
Yeah, yeah.
life takes
Life
off.
happens and it happens to everybody. And it's,
True.
yeah, I mean, I think, and it's really important to talk about it because otherwise, I mean, it can be really hard depending on what mental state you're in to figure it out yourself.
Yes.
Sometimes it's really helpful to talk to somebody who's already gone through something like that, or somebody who can, it's just like a fresh ear. It can give you perspective on, actually big picture, it's going to be okay. And this is what we can do. So yeah, I think, yeah, everybody.
Yeah,
I mean, are
everybody.
you even human if you don't fail sometimes?
Absolutely. Okay, so thank you very much, Radhika, for sharing your journey with us. And I'm sure the viewers have had, their nuggets out of this conversation. And definitely, if there is something, they will reach out to you. Before we part, my last question is, what's your mantra in life, and what is it that you would like to share with the audience, which can help them deal with life, deal with, going through the phases of success. Some days it's happening, some days it's not, and dealing with it. So what's that mantra that really works for you?
Yeah, yeah. So I guess for mantra, like one of my favorites is actually it's Make Yourself, which is actually the name of my favorite album by my favorite band called Incubus. But this idea of Make Yourself is just about being yourself and not letting other people mold how you should think or who you should be. I think it's really easy for people, and I think especially young people, to
Right.
define success by what somebody else's criterion of success is.
Sure.
So, you know, you could work really, really hard towards what you think is success. Like, I
Sure.
really want to be X career, make this much money, or have this much fame. And then at the end of the day, I think what you run the risk of is not like you might be successful in terms of like what your parents defined for you as success, but you're not actually a happy person.
Yeah.
So I think that, that's just something, if I leave anybody with a message, like, is like, try to really, um, do you, and give yourself time to figure out who you are, what you want your life to look like, how you define success. There's a quote by Carl Jung. I think that's like, something like, the world will ask you who you are, and if you do not know, the world will tell you. And I think
Very
can be
well
really
said.
true. It's like,
Mhm.
we only have this one life,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and it's a short life. Like, don't miss that opportunity to really make yourself.
Beautiful. I think very well said that the world will ask you who you are, and if you don't know the answer, then they'll give you the definition of who you need to be. So thank you so much once again. It was really enlightening talking to you. Awesome journey, and wish you all the best with all your dreams and everything that you want to do. And of course, a lot of best wishes with the little one. I know how he keeps you busy and on your toes.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, thank you. It's a real honor. Thank you for having me.